In this video, we'll be talking about how to choose between single and double quotes in PHP. The choice between single and double quotes in PHP really depends on how you want PHP to handle the content inside the string. Here is the difference. In PHP, single quotes treat the content as plain text, whereas double quotes allow PHP to pass variables and escape sequences inside the string. So let's take an example on both using single and double quotes on content that's got variables within them. So the first thing is what we've done is we declared a variable and assigned it the value test. The variable is called name. And then we O-code the text hello, and next to it we've added the variable. And the first line is using single quotations. And then we've got a new line, which is pretty much a break. So, and the second thing is for the second echo statement, pretty much is the same, but uses a double quote and has just got another new line for the next example to just add more space for the next example. But here we want to focus on what differences would it make to use single quotes in the first line, and in the second echo statement we've used double quotes. So as we can see here, the output would actually pretty much will just display the variable name as is. So single quotes treat everything as literal text. So variables like name won't be replaced. It will just be printed as is. Whereas with the double quotes example, it will replace that variable with its value. So what they do is they interpret variables and replace them with their values. That's because we've used the double quotation. So looking at the browser, we can see that output pretty much reflects on what we've got in the comments. So that's the difference is when you try to print, if you're working with variables and you'd like their values to be displayed, then use double quotation for dynamically changing content. Whereas if the print statement is pretty much static information, then you go with single quotation. Now, the second example is showing you how single and double quotes work when you're trying to embed escape sequence within the statement. So the first line is trying to print price and then escape sequence of a dollar sign, and that pretty much is going to print the whole thing as is, as plain text, as we mentioned here. Whereas in the second example, the double quotes pretty much here will interpret escape sequence like the escape dollar sign for an actual dollar sign, giving us this output that we expect to see. Whereas with the single quotes, it does not process escape sequences, treating them as literal text. So let's have a look at what this looks like in the browser. Now, because we had two break statements here, so we've got a break coming from here to here. And we can see with the single quotation, it printed it as plain text, pretty much the escape sequence and the dollar sign, whereas the second one has interpreted the escape sequence with a dollar sign and printed it out as a dollar sign. So that these are examples on how pretty much single quotes and double quotes differ when you're trying to use them to display content in PHP. I hope it was helpful to you, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.